Hello everybody, you're listening to Shazizz out here in my mad science laboratory via the, excuse me, via MSI Radio, Awake Radio, We Roar Radio, Shazizz Radio, and many, many more. Sorry if I forgot to list them all. But yeah, man, we've got a massive network growing, sometimes basically kept together with baling wire and duct tape and Gorilla Glue and Elmer's glue and all kinds of other whatever we can get to hold this good idea together. We're doing it. We've got people all over the globe, and we're basically trying to spread good information to the world. You know, peace and love, everybody. So that's what it's all about. And you know, here we are. This is 2013. We're heading on into the future on a freight train out of control, and new technologies coming around, old technologies being rediscovered, and so on down the line. You know, it's a good time to live in this world. It's a good time to actually get to see all the things and discover and rediscover and so on down the line. You know, there's a lot of sad things going on in the world, a lot of chaos, a lot of craziness, and, you know, it's just good-hearted folks around the world that look out into it, and they see all this stuff going on, and they say, you know, there's a better way. Well, I got a good idea, and I got a good vision for the future, because I believe that there's a mass awakening going on around the globe. You know, we don't need the global elite. We don't need the global bankers. We don't need all the crazy stuff. All we do is need one another. And so with that said, we'll take our duct tape, our Gorilla Glue, our Elmer's glue, bubble gum if necessary, pull a few MacGyver tricks, keep the network a-flowing and all that kind of jazz. If you got friends on Facebook, tell them about MSI Radio. Tell them about Awake Radio. Tell them about We Roar Radio. Tell them about Shazizz Radio. Tell them about all the networks. Send them to any of the places, and all these good individuals will make sure that the information that you get is good information from around the world. We're not here to sell you anything. We're not here to try to convince you of anything. We're here to share and seek solutions to ideas, to problems that we already know exist in the world today. I mean, it's easy enough to say, yeah, the world's all jacked up, but to seek the solutions to fix it, that's what we do. That's what we do. And so with that said, we've got a lot of good individuals in the chat rooms of all these different networks out there. Keep the social networks growing. Keep them growing by leaps and bounds. We'll throw as many encoders as we can possibly get these old junky computers to keep on running and just keep on going as long as we can possibly go. I believe that, because I've seen it firsthand, and a lot of the individuals that are radio hosts on this show and guests as well that have been here for a long time, they've followed us down the road, and they've seen the bumpy paths, and they've seen that whenever all heck breaks loose, we all pull in together, and man, we just make it happen. Say, hey, brother, I got some baling wire. We'll hold these two together over there. And, hey, brother, you hold those two wires over there. I'll flip the switch. Now, don't do that if you're in my lab, though. Anyway, I was talking to Scott Brown this morning, and it's a good possibility we might get a special guest on here. I won't say just yet. I'll let Scott introduce him if we can get him on here. But it'll be a really nice thing to have him on the show. We got a lot of researchers around the world, man. Some of the researchers out there, you know, you got to keep your eyes peeled. There's some people out there want to play some jokes on you or whatever, or they just trolling the internet. If somebody tries to sell you a free energy device, walk away, because the information is your information. It's our information. It belongs to all of us, and it should be free. So I believe that humanity can literally thrive by each and every one of us doing our part to try to, you know, help one another learn things, and, you know, like alternative energies, alternative food sources, legal, and you name it, alternative medicine. It's just, it's we the people taking care of each other with knowledge that we've gained on our journey through life. So it doesn't make me any smarter than you because I have a few ideas, or I have a little bit more time at the wheel studying up certain technologies or stuff like that. It just means that here's a guy who has a little bit of resource, that a little bit of knowledge that he's acquired, and is wanting to share it with the world, because my ultimate goal is to get everyone off the power grid if they so choose to do so. Some folks don't want to get off the power grid. Some folks don't want to do anything necessarily for themselves. They would rather just feed off of the system. You know, that's all well and good because it's their life's journey. So I don't, it's not my place to judge anyone. So if somebody wants to stay on the power grid, more power to you. But in my book and a lot of other people's book around the world, we're tired of being leeched off of, vampired, so to speak, by the corporate goons that run the power companies of the world. So there's a lot of technologies out there that have been suppressed, and I've been attacked under over everything under the sun. I've argued till I was blue in the face with those folks that preach the laws of physics as if it was a religion, so to speak. But here recently I did a video because I had been attacked. Somebody called me a dumbass. Said I didn't know what I was talking about. Yeah, well, you know, okay. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but every once in a while I got to make a video like that. So if you get an opportunity, go watch my video called Dumbass. I show you something really cool in that video. And I'm not the kind of guy that if I say it, I'm going to have to prove it, because, you know, once you've lost your honor or your trust with individuals, it's almost impossible to get that back. And so, you know, on my YouTube channel, I've told everyone from the get-go, I said, you know, you're liable to see something crazy on here. You're liable to see me get angry or upset or whatever, and you know, that's what it's all about, because I'm only human. But if you pay attention to what's going on in those videos and you watch the background, I've been putting clues in all my videos to what it is that I'm actually working on. You know, it's not one of these things that you can just jump out there like, you know, file you a patent, a U.S. copyright or whatever, you know, because the moment you start delving into the corporate goons side of the world, you know, they figure out ways to regulate your ideas and basically try to shut you up so you can't tell everyone. You know, you can't sell drugs if there ain't nobody sick, and you can't sell bullets and ammunitions and guns and bombs if there ain't no wars going on. You can't sell electricity if everyone has a free energy device. So on down the line. So it's, you know, if you don't believe in conspiracy theories, that's okay, you know, but you have to step back and look at the big picture and understand that these certain individuals from all these different fields of study, or corporate goons or whatever, they got something to gain and they got something to lose by whatever information that you put out there. So if you show everybody how to make a free energy device, it hits them in their wallet. If you show everybody how to do alternative alternative medicine or whatever, it's you know, it's going to hit somebody in the corporate pocket, and they don't like that very much. So with that said, you know, a lot of things are said. They'd like to demonize individuals for being free thinkers, thinking outside the box, and so on and so forth. But here at MSI Radio and Awake Radio and We Roar Radio and Shazizz Radio and on, you know, we're tired of being told what to think, and we're tired of being told what to feel. We're tired of being told that we have to stay down, you know. Stay down. Believe what you're told on TV. Believe what you're told on the radio. Believe everything. Just do as I say, not as I do, kind of thing, from the supposed representation of the governments of the world. Now, I got friends in Russia. I got friends in China. I got friends in Australia. I got friends in Ireland. I got friends in Scotland. I got friends all over the globe, from Canada to Africa, and all these folks out there are just good individuals, good-hearted souls, just like you and I. They want the same thing out of life. They want to be able to live free and sovereign. They want to be able to enjoy their lives and raise their families in peace, love, and harmony, you know. Just enjoy the human experience. But there's those out there who want to fight over resources and whatever that they can possibly fight over in order to keep their power structure intact. We don't believe that way here at MSI Radio and Awake Radio and We Roar Radio and Shazizz Radio and so on down the line. We don't, all these networks out here that are rebroadcasting, thank you very much. Peace and love to you, and you know, like Muddy says, all good things to you and yours and that kind of stuff. But I tell you what, folks, we're gaining on them. We're gaining ground on them, and I think we're actually passing them up. You know, we don't need the system. We don't need to keep feeding the beast that is the system that's eating us alive. So I think I might take me a breather because I've been babbling on like a buffoon for the last whatever. But I get so excited because as I'm talking to all my friends from around the world and sharing information with you, there's good news out there. There's really seriously good news out there. You know, the world may be chaotic and there may be a lot of terrible things happening. I just came from another funeral yesterday. That's the 4th one in the last 3 months. You know, and I'm getting weary of it. I'm tired of losing friends, and I'm tired of losing family. I'm tired of losing loved ones around the world because you yourself personally, and I'm talking to you personally, every single individual out there are more important than you can possibly imagine. And so with that said, I'm begging you, please don't cheat the world of what it is to be you. Because you may be the next inventor, the next great inventor. You may be the next great representative of the world. You may be the next great doctor. You may just be the next great friend. You may be the one single individual that keeps somebody from doing something stupid, such as taking their own life. Pay attention to what's going on around you and the friends and the family members you got, and just let them know that you always have an open ear and an open heart for them. That's what old Shazizz's mad science is all about. It's not just about throwing some wires together and showing people how to make free energy. Essentially, we're not making free energy. It's already there. We're just learning how to tap into it. But anyway, I just want to say to everybody out there who's actually rebroadcasting and trying to make a difference in the world, keep up the good fight. You know, we're in it for the long haul here at MSI Radio. And hopefully y'all are in it for the long haul as well. We're in it to win it. That's what I'm saying. This world that we look at out there is a beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery. And mechanically, in my mind, it is the greatest artwork that I've ever seen in my life. It is amazing. It is a massive thermal electric generator of epic proportions, a self-contained biosphere that has the resources to take us into infinity and beyond. So all we have to do in order to make anything of this world better than what it is today is use common sense and use the love of humanity and strive for a better way for each and every one of us, for my children and your children and our children's children's future and into beyond. I've said this many, many, many times, but it bears repeating. We are the founding fathers, the mothers, the sisters, the brothers, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, the friends of our children and our children's children's future, and what we do today will define the world that they live in tomorrow. And so with that said, I'm going to try to find me a happy tune while I sit here and babble as I go down the list and looking for something. I know the perfect song. I just got to find it. But I'm gonna play a tune, and I'm gonna see if I can possibly drag a few people up in here to make this show a better place. Oh, hold on, we got somebody calling.
There we go.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, all right. We on air or off air, bro?
We're live.
I cut the radio player, so I had no way of checking out. I got Raymond here in the background here.
Great. How you doing, Raymond?
Excellent, partner. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I was just getting ready to go on a break and play a tune so that I could call up Scott and hopefully get you on the line as well. And I just threw Simply Steve in there. Hopefully he can call in because, we need all these brilliant minds from around the world because we're on a mission here. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. I don't know about all that brilliant mind stuff. I like listening to minds.
Well, I can tell you hang around Scott a lot because he's kind of a humble man too, you know.
That's my little brother.
Right on. So, what
happens bigger than me, that's all. It's size.
Oh, it's a size thing there, huh? Hey, we got Simply. I'm gonna add him into the call if I can. Doggone it.
Hey, if you're fixing to go on break, I've got some links to slap down here in the bottom because I can't stay on MSI radio and chat and all that stuff and Skype at the same time. I got one of them slow computers that works like mine. So, if you want me to put a couple in there, you.
Hold on a second. I'm crashing it out here. Hey, I lost a bunch of people here. Hold on, man. Mad Science is going down the tubes here real quick. Let me see if I can fix this up. Yeah, help. Okay, let me try this again. I'm gonna hang up on everybody and call some folks back.
Roger.
All right. Wow, this is terrible. Okay. All right. Hello. Come on. Scott. All right. Hey. You guys still there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
All right. Well, I'm crashing this out, man. I need to add some friends to this call here. All right, well, keep on talking there, brother, while I get Simply Steve and Cultus on there. Tell everybody what your new projects are working on.
Who are you talking to, me or Raymond?
You or Raymond.
You first there, Raymond.
Okay. New project is not really new. It's about 4 years old, and I think it's mentioned several times. A lot of people don't seem to get it. It's called cold steam turbine. All it uses is a very, very old process that water, or actually any liquid, boils at a certain temperature. What people don't understand is the pressure on the liquid determines its boiling. So water boils at 212 degrees. Duh. On Mount Everest, it boils at 185. So if you relieve the pressure on the liquid, you lower the boiling point. Now, this may sound stupid to some people, but on Mars, water boils at 55 degrees. Because Mars doesn't have a very high atmosphere, so therefore it has very low pressure. The lower the pressure, the lower the boiling point.
Cool.
So, if we take water and we put it in a container, and we take a vacuum pump and decrease the pressure on the water, then it will boil at 55 degrees, at 5 millibars. Now, some people out there may not know what a millibar is. The Earth's atmosphere at sea level is 15.6 psi, whatever. But if you lower it, that's 1,000 millibars. If you lower that to 5 millibars, water will 55 degrees. A commercial vacuum pump that AC people use, they use it for one reason, to lower the pressure in the system, causing any water in the system the oil can come out of it. Therefore, when they put the Freon in, you've got pure Freon. No moisture.
Well, isn't it true that at some point, whenever you're boiling water in a like a vacuum or whatever, that you can actually create ice?
Okay.
Hello?
I'm here.
I was just saying, I've seen a nifty video where they were actually using a vacuum to create ice. And it worked.
Why? He still do it.
Now we got dead airspace here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, look here. If you put a vacuum on water, and the water starts to boil, and let's just say, for example, 65 or 70, it starts to boil. Now, when water boils, what it's doing is it's taking the heat that is in the water, putting it into the molecules of the water. Now, this is the beautiful part of the cold steam turbine. When water boils, it means that the molecule of water is expanding 1,600 times its original size as a liquid. Now, all of a sudden, it becomes stable. The thing is, it doesn't do it. Here we go. No, it says, boom, and it turns into steam. It explodes. And as that one molecule explodes, it pushes.
Wow. Hey, Raymond, do you got a...
all the other molecules of the liquid, like any explosion, in all directions. So if you have a turbine that's designed properly, it has the water on one side.
Ah, we dropped our call. This is terrible. Hold on, we're trying to get everybody back there. Sorry about that, folks. You're listening to Shazizz Mad Science here on MSI Radio, and we had several people online, and apparently there we go. We got to get back there. Sorry about that.
Now, as water turns to steam, it doesn't do it slowly. It's almost instantaneous. It's like an explosion. But yet, the explosion is so small. But when it explodes, it becomes huge. I like to say humongous. Big. Yes, it pushes all. You understand? So, liquid moves like a turbine. One side is designed to allow the flow. Be it air, water, or whatever, it allows the flow to go by. The other side is like the tooth of a saw blade or help me out here, Scott. Delta's wheel?
Yeah. And you got one in the shade, one sitting in the sun, and the sun makes the steam turbine and gets quite a bit of energy out of it because of the expansion of the water being almost 11,000 times, or 1,100, was it?
1,600.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's 1,600 times bigger. No.
Well, don't everybody talk at once. Everybody still there? Oh, my Lord. Here we go again. Computer problems. All righty, let me try this again here. Doggone it. Ah! All right, well, look here. I'm going to go with my original plan and play a quick tune here and see if I can get these folks back online. Do-do-do-do-do. Happy tune coming up. Hey, how's it going? You're on air. We're live again. So who did we...
Let's be back, mate.
Who did we lose?
Lost anyone. We're just at the present moment just getting Raymond onto my contacts list here so we can chuck him in.
All right, great. Well, we was having a pretty good conversation, and then for some reason, modern technology disagreed with us.
As it often does, my friend.
Yeah, it does. So, what was we talking about there?
I think it was the expansive capacity of water upon combustion, or heat, actually.
Yeah, that was Raymond's working on a project or something like that, and I was hoping that he could give his YouTube channel out to everybody so that they could come check out his work and that kind of stuff. And have we got Muddy back yet?
He's gone off to ring Raymond specifically to get him to accept my contact request.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yep,
let's take it from there. I heard Steve was saying something on there right before we had our crash.
Okay.
You there, Steve?
I'm there, mate.
Wake up!
No, somebody just sent me a cool YouTube clip there where he says, "Are you a Jedi?" Because I told him last night my religion was Jedi.
You got a lightsaber?
Well, I'm working on it.
All right.
You're the mad scientist. You're the guy with the plasma torches. I mean, we'll work it out.
Well, yeah, but I've got a lot of projects going on right now, so if you get a lightsaber before I do, I want one of those. Those are cool. You could
Do you want
like
a green one or a red one?
It's kind of hard to choose because they're both cool. I kind of like the blue ones too, man.
Well, let's go for purple.
Yeah, there you go. And you can slice a lot of bread with that one. So we got,
Gang's all here on a faster computer.
yeah.
Right. I got to get you one of those.
All right, so where were we?
Right, we were talking, at least I was trying to explain my process on the cold steam turbine. Cold steam simply means that all you do is reduce the pressure on the liquid. You lower the boiling point, which means you let even less heat to cause the liquid to boil. But liquids, when they boil, they don't turn to a vapor slowly. When they boil, they actually explode and increase their size, pushing all the other liquids around it. And you're right about if you put too little pressure on a liquid, then all of a sudden all the liquid just boils. And the reason it boils is called latent heat. It's the amount of heat needed for a liquid to change from a liquid to a vapor. This doesn't happen slowly. But in doing so, it sucks all the heat out of the other liquids around it. And what you can, by using a vacuum, you can't get ice. You just insulate the water, for example. You suck a vacuum on it until all of the heat in the water causes the water, parts of the water to expand. And then there is no more heat left in the other liquid, so it turns to ice.
Huh.
Sorry,
Raymond.
what was that? What was that effect called? Sorry.
Cold steam.
Yeah.
And when the other side is in the shade, while one side is in the sun, and it goes over to the other side and recondenses and goes back over, even though it's all in kind of a vacuum.
Is somebody
And
standing out in the
It's
yard?
pretty interesting.
Because I'm hearing,
sorry, Steve.
I'm hearing traffic in the background.
It's not me.
It might be my air conditioner.
Oh, well, that might be it. All right, what was you saying, Muddy?
I said the way I understand it, see how it, from what I've seen here, he's got a kind of a steam turbine submersed in the first container, and when it expands, because of the way it's built, it's ribbed a certain way and goes into a vertical rotary, a vertical axis rotary motion. And he's got magnets in there on that steam turbine, and his coils are on the outside of the glass. And he generates electricity that way. And now as the water expands and turns to steam, it travels down a tube to another section that is in the shade, which is just a few degrees cooler, but it recondenses pretty much immediately and gets cycled back over to the other side where the process happens again. With just a little bit of sunlight, he's getting some pretty decent gain out of it.
Well, that sounds fantastic. You guys got any links to his channel?
I've got links to it. Let me pass some over here. have to pop down here to the bottom. I prepared a few links here.
Well, you can throw them up in
There
the
we
chat
go.
room there if you like.
There we go. There's copy. I'll drop it down here into the IM. This is his main channel right here. Oh, I'll send that in. You have to transfer it over for me because if I'm on MSN, it doesn't quite take care of it. Or MSI, I mean.
Cool. So, all right, great. We got Raymond's YouTube channel in there, and so everybody go over there and subscribe to his channel and see what he's working on. It sounds fascinating to me. You still?
The one thing that a lot of people don't understand is it also uses Lenz's law. Now, a lot of people out there think they know the conservation of energy laws. Like, number one, you cannot create energy from nothing. Duh, that's given. You take nothing and add to nothing, you have nothing.
That sounds like my wallet.
Really, Scott and my buddy Jeff up there in Missouri, they've had a few hecklers that said, you can't do that. That defies the laws of physics. No, it's not, because Scott, Jeff, and I, neither one are trying to create energy from nothing. What's law number 2? You cannot destroy existing energy.
Well, brother, I'm a rebel against the laws of physics. Everyone can tell you, shazizz is a mad scientist because I'm looking for that one anomaly in the 10 times that they tested to create the laws of physics, and so that's what I'm interested in, that one anomaly.
The anomaly is you need to study all 3 laws to get there. Number 1, you cannot produce energy from nothing. Number 2, you cannot destroy energy. Number 3 says, in between number 2 and number 3, you think, well, if you can't create energy from nothing, but yet you cannot destroy energy, then you need to think of it in the middle of number 2 and number 3. What happens to all of the energy that's there? It's free energy.
Amen, brother.
Crossing is the machine to convert the energy into usable energy. That is law number 3.
You see,
What's the 3rd law of the conservation of energy?
You have to pay someone for it.
Okay.
That's not a real law, but that's the one they tell us is true.
The 3rd conservation of energy is, however, you can change energy's shape, form, and or direction. So all energy is free. What costs money is the machine you have to build to convert it. The wind blows for free. Why? Because the sun shines over here and heats the air up and it rises and the cold air comes in to take its place. So therefore you have wind. But what are you going to do with it? It's energy. You need to build some kind of windmill that will use that energy and convert it to electricity or pumping water or just cooling your house. It doesn't matter. All energy is free. There is no such thing as non-free energy. You cannot destroy energy. You can change its shape, size, and or direction.
Well, see, that's what I've been saying forever and a day. If you can't find free energy, you're simply not looking hard enough for it because it's all around us. We are energy. The world is energy. There's energy everywhere. So,
you know what? What you just said reminds me of something I did about 4 or 5 years ago when I first got into this YouTube thing and doing scientific experiments and all. And, anything that uses electricity, it can be converted to make electricity. And I'm thinking to myself, a speaker makes music.
yep.
How? Because it vibrates, and it uses electromagnets to vibrate paper. So I hooked up my multimeter to a speaker, and I just happened to live right in the landing path of DFW Airport. So I'm walking with the speaker hooked to my multimeter, and a jet plane is flying over, passenger plane is flying over the tree. The leaves on the trees are shaking, not
Hey,
Give me a break.
hey, Raymond.
It's just honest. Yes.
You just gave me a funny thought. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there that complain about noisy neighbors. So if you set up a speaker array and you ran them all into a capacitor bank and you was actually charging your house with noises that are around you, you could go over and tell your neighbors, hey guys, could you turn your music up a little bit because I need to run my toaster.
How you? I mean, Louisville has a what do they do? I call it a law. They call it something, an ordinance. They call it an ordinance. You cannot use wind power in any manner, in any form, by any means, to produce electricity.
Well, see, they must know something because if they got a regulation against it, there must be a purpose, and the only purpose I can see is if you did that, you might take a few pennies out of the man's wallet.
Think about that. I mean, damn, did you realize that as I leave my house, go down Highway 121 toward the downtown center of Louisville, that there are strings and strings and strings of huge metal towers that carry electric power lines. And the thing is, I've walked and I've looked. Every one of them are grounded. Why would you do that? Less than 2 blocks from my house are 5 microwave cell phone antenna towers. And every one of them is grounded. Why would they ground them? Because the air blows across that metal and creates static electricity, and if they weren't grounded and you got within 15 feet, your junk would be in your watch pocket. I mean, you cannot make electricity by means of wind power. By any means. You cannot use the wind to produce electricity. But they covered their butts. They said usable electricity. Therefore, you can take a tower, stick it in the air to carry electrical lines. Now, all of a sudden, the wind is blowing across these towers, making electricity, but you can't use it. You have to put it in the ground. Think about that. I've got a video showing how I put a galvanized piece of metal in the ground 70 feet away. This is the trick. If you really want some good power, it has to be north and south. So anyway, I put a copper piece of metal in the ground. And I'm getting voltage and amperage. It's not usable, it's too low, but like you said, I use a capacitor. Store it up.
Yeah, and
then
you also have little amplifying circuits such as joule thieves, and you can actually raise the voltage up there and charge those capacitors a bit faster.
Okay. Don't know how a joule thief works, but I know there's a lot of people out there that do.
Yeah, well,
I might see somebody.
I got a friend of mine who's actually building me a joule thief to hook to a earth battery that I've been using, and I haven't got my poles north to south like you do. They're actually running east to west, but I've been maintaining 0.75 volts of electricity for 1 month solid without ever, and it's under a load too. I've actually got it connected to a load. So under load, it's producing 0.75 volts and it's charging a capacitor. And so right now it's at 0.76, 0.76, and that's actually in the volt range, but it's staying steady, and it's been that way for a month. And I got 1 copper-coated ground rod and 1 galvanized ground rod, just like you were talking about. And so far, you know, that's what I've got going on, and I'm going to hook a joule thief up to it to amplify the energy just a bit. What do you think?
I think it's great, but I'd like to see you run it north and south just for a few days, maybe a week or so, and just see if you get more voltage. Because mine was reading a little bit over 1 volt.
Yeah, at one point I had 1.4 volts, but then I changed my changed the way that I had them wired up, and it kind of dropped it down. So I need to go back to the original wiring that I had on there, because I was holding steady at 1 1.04 volts.
Yeah.
Hey, one added note to everything. He's got his going east and west and not north and south there, Raymond, so that's quite an accomplishment.
Yes, that is a big accomplishment.
But what I'm going to do, I'll have to get a video out of it and show everybody exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to hook a Jewel Thief up to that and see if I can amplify it just enough. And basically, I'm going to start running some tests where I can see how many of these I can actually stick into the ground to multiply, you know, like run them in series or whatever, in order to get these things to actually produce a lot more.
All right. I don't know that much about electronics, but I did try, and I did not make videos of it, but I did try hooking some same things up in series. I could not get an increase in voltage.
Hey, Raymond.
Yes, sir.
Out of the interest and I think the main highlights of some of your experiments and research, I want to let them know that you got you had the largest dual escapement, two-stage oscillator in the world, and with the dual escapement and everything. I think you said you had, according to all the figures, I mean, you got them all in your head. I never can remember them. But I think you had 11 over unity, I think it was.
At one time.
Elaborate on that.
Okay. At one time, the math that I did, and I did it over and over and over again, and then I even waited a month or two to let my head get cleared of cobwebs and did the math again, and still it kept returning over and over again, 11 times over unity. Now, the thing is, I did a video on that size and shape and density does matter when it comes to a pendulum. The heavier the pendulum for the exact same size and same shape takes more energy to get it going. But once it's going, it takes less energy to keep it going. You take a pendulum, for example, It's 2 foot diameter, 3 inches thick, and it weighs 100 pounds because it's red oak. Now, it takes a lot of energy to get it going. And let's just say you're swinging it at 6'6", which just happens to be 2 meters. Now, let's just say, for example, it takes 10 pounds of force moving 3 inches to keep it swinging once you get it swinging. Now, take that same dimension, 2 foot diameter, 3 inches thick, and you make it out of now it weighs 500 pounds. It takes more energy to get it swinging. But once you get it swinging, it takes less energy to keep it swinging. Now, this is what I've done. I've made different pendulums on different materials. The last video I made of my 2-stage oscillator, which I want to give the pen his due, Velhiko Milkovic, he's the one that came up with the idea back in 1997. The United States will not have anything that will produce more energy than to keep building. However, in his country, they will. So, he's got a patent on the machine. I love this man. He's great. Anyway, the pendulum I had on my last video weighed 230 pounds. It was producing 140 watts of electricity, and I was operating it with my thumbs. One thumb on the right hand would push down on a piece of 1/4 inch wide, 1/4 inch thick, 5 inch wide steel, right on the corner. If I had pushed with enough energy to produce 140 watts of electricity, it would have cut a hole in my thumb because I only pushed for 2 inches. Now, the thing is, I have increased the pendulum, not its size or shape, but by using lead instead of steel. I have increased its weight to hold just under 600 pounds. I haven't done any experiments, but because of this radio station and there are people out there listening to me, and I need to get back on it and check it out.
Hey, Raymond, give me the numbers on the input power and the output power, your inches, and let me explain this so it doesn't get missed. On a full cycle of a pendulum swing, when it starts on its way down, gets to the bottom, the extraction of the energy is in the excess momentum for its weight going down, so the bar goes down a little bit. That has the pivot of the pendulum, and that power is extracted there. Then when it goes up and gets almost 90 degrees, it gets lighter at that point, and that bar goes up, so he gets another pulse. Then it comes back down, gets another down pulse, and then when it goes back to start, it gets light again, and he extracts power out there. He's not extracting it from the horizontal swing itself, but from the vertical, from the weight differential in the vertical form. So he's basically powering it going left and right, and extracting going north and south. So basically, he's using gravity as the energy. That's where his gain is coming from. Get to the numbers. Let's get to the exciting good stuff here, Bub.
All right. Okay. Cycle of a pendulum. Now, let's just say, for example, the pendulum starts out at its highest point on the right-hand side. At that point, it weighs nothing. So it starts to come down, gaining energy because it's free. Now, it's just bottom center. Its direction changes. It's starting to go up. But in doing so, it has a force that it's gained all this energy coming down. Now all of a sudden it's trying to go up. So it's pulling on its pivot point. And this is the part of the two-stage oscillator. The pivot point is allowed to move up and down. So we have a second stage, a second pivot point. It comes over, and then now all of a sudden it's pulling down on this pivot point, pulling up over here, because it's like a teeter-totter. But now then it goes up, and it stops. So it has lifted, now comes down. So in reality, if you use a double Beckett, like I do in my videos, and I've made several videos showing exactly how the double Beckett works, you actually get full actual power. There's four positions that you get power from the two-stage oscillator. That right now, my two-stage oscillator, if I try and to stop it and let it get power only from bottom dead center, it will lift 180 pounds, 5 inches.
Wow, that's some fascinating stuff,
and that's,
man.
Roughly, you want figures, we're talking about a full cycle is roughly 1 3/4 of a second. So you're going to get 180 pounds moving up 5 inches twice every 1 3/4 seconds, and only by the power of your thumb.
Well, so could you hook instead of having to use your thumb?
Sorry. Full cycle, you have to push on one side and then the other. So we're talking the power of your thumb. All the power you can produce with your thumb, moving 4 inches.
Could you
180 pounds, 10 inches.
Could you build like a solenoid?
Can you do that? Is there anybody out there listening to this radio station that thinks they can pick up 180 pounds, 10 inches by moving their two thumbs 4 inches?
I don't, but could you?
There's groups of people that have been doing that for 1,000 years, Raymond.
Really?
Trapeze artists.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do that. I'm not an electronics person. I know electricity.
Well, I might be able to help you out with that.
Hey, I need some help.
But that's what it's all about, is basically bringing all these ideas together, because, brother, you got a piece of the puzzle that we all need, and you've already proven it in your video that you can get more force out, you know, with your system just by using your thumb to push the thing back and forth. And you're right, I couldn't lift that much weight with my thumb. It'd probably fall off.
It when you use the weight you lifted, because now all of a sudden the pendulum is up and it doesn't weigh anything, so it's releasing the weight that it has lifted, and it comes down. Now, you're talking about timing and trapeze artists. You're right. The timing is everything, because when it comes up, it stops for a split second. But during that split second, it releases the weight that it has lifted, so now you've got your double Beckett. And, for those people out there that don't know what a Beckett is, a check valve allows the flow in one direction, but not the other. A diode allows electricity to go in one direction, but not the other. A Beckett allows a chain, rope, or cable to go in one direction, but not the other. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I'm thinking along the lines is there's all kinds of different, because as you're explaining this to me, I'm seeing the mechanics work in my head, and I'm thinking on the downstroke I could actually have something like a hydraulic system that would be pressurizing on the downstroke that would have enough recoil back the other direction to push it back up again.
Exactly. So there comes a double Beckett. When the machine is capable of picking up 80 pounds, 5 inches. So we don't put an 80-pound weight on it. We put 90 pounds. So now all of a sudden when it's coming up with 90 pounds excess force. Therefore, we take the excess force and we put it into a generator or an alternator. Now all of a sudden this 90 pounds is up 5 inches, and the other 90 pounds of force has been introduced into an alternator. But now, when it's lifted and the pendulum is at top dead center, it releases its force, lifting the 90 pounds. And now, all of a sudden, the 90 pounds is coming down, turning the alternator.
With a 12-foot swing from end to end.
Yes.
That
Yes.
centrifugal force with that 600 pounds, almost 600 pounds coming down is a lot of weight. This thing's built out of huge I-beams. I mean, that thing comes down. It's got a lot of weight. And, I mean, I tell you what, that's the thing. When we extract the down power, we're having problems with chains being able to hang on to it. So what we're planning and thinking is basically converting, rather than trying to bump a generator and then bump the generator and then bump the generator again. We're thinking about lifting water up and letting the water continually keeping a steady flow to make the generator go. I know he's gotten more power out of the generator than it would take to lift the 10-pound weight that he had operating it at the time.
Well, you know something, you guys, you've sparked a lot of ideas in my head. Matter of fact, I'm going to go out and hook a generator up to the kids' swing set so that while they're out there swinging back and forth, I'm getting a little bit of batteries charged up.
I like that idea because there's so much free energy, and people don't. I mean, they use it. And look at all the. And this is stupid, but at the same time, it's not. Look at all the exercise gyms and gymnasiums there are. People pay money to go here and ride these exercise bicycles. I mean, duh.
Yeah, hook them up to a power bank, man. While they're out there working out and paying you money, you're actually getting free energy.
Exactly.
I love the way you think, Raymond.
All energy is free. The only thing that costs money is the machine to change one form of energy into a form you need or want. That's it.
Well, you know what?
Yes,
This has been fascinating. What were you about to say something, buddy?
It was simply Steve.
Oh, Steve, sorry.
Probably just for the people listening in. One of the biggest wake-up calls for me is I watched an elderly gentleman do a YouTube video presentation on energy, and he pointed out that a thermometer isn't just a measure of temperature; it's actually a measure of energy.
Exactly.
And once I got my head around that, things started becoming a lot clearer.
Well, there you go, man. Isn't a thermometer like a perpetual motion machine? Because no matter what the temperature is outside, the thermometer is either raising or lowering due to the temperature outside. So I've had thermometers around my house, and I'm 47 years old. I've had them around my house for probably 30, 40 years of my life, and they're still working.
Yeah, they don't build things like they used to. They put a Chinese wind turbine out there, and they pay $90,000 for it. 6 months later, the worm gear is done rusted up on the thing. And
well, brother, as far as the Chinese go, it's kind of changing the subject a bit, but when you get into Tesla technology and wireless energy, the Chinese gave us the holy grail of material because they give us this cheapo stainless steel that they actually throw all kinds of different metals and junk in. And this stuff is like a perfect antenna. You should check it out sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to screw us, but in turn they helped us out.
Well, do you know that ice skaters and space travel have something very similar in common?
What do they got?
I don't know if you've ever been ice skating, but what we used to do when we were kids, when we used to do it at school, is one person at the front would skate really fast, and the person behind them would hold on to their belt. And as they come around the curve, you'd grab them and you'd throw them, and the centrifugal force would send them belting down the side of the ice skating rink. Well, that's the principle that they use for accelerating vehicles to up to as fast as they can get them, by using the gravity of the sun under the same principle.
Do you realize that what you just said is what NASA did? They watched ice skaters. They watched the people on roller skates doing that whip action you're talking about. I mean,
yeah.
Reality here. That's what NASA does when they slingshot a satellite into deep space. They aim it at a planet.
And it causes acceleration at the same time so they can get further out for less fuel.
Exactly. They burn a whole lot less fuel by using the force of gravity to increase the speed of the satellite. And then at that last moment, they burn a little bit of fuel and break away from the gravitational force of that planet. And now all of a sudden, they're going 6, 8, 9 times faster than the fuel they burn.
Cool.
By using gravity.
Hey, Steve.
Gravity is not energy.
Hey,
They couldn't do that.
Hey, Steve.
In fairness, it's not an original idea, because Star Trek did that as well to get back in time to save whales.
Well, see, if Star Trek can do it, then it's got to be true. But Steve, hey, when you was talking about ice skating, I don't necessarily know much about the ice skating, but I did make some homemade skis one time, and I went down the hill and made a hard arc right into a ditch. Does that count?
Oh, yeah.
Did you break any bones?
No, I didn't break no bones, but I broke my pride.
But by the observation of nature, we can actually come up with some valid principles on how to, say, either harness or get extra energy where we didn't necessarily expect it to be.
Exactly, because it's there.
Well,
We
see,
just didn't expect it.
And that's what we all agree on. All of us agree on this stuff. Cultus and I and a bunch of other folks are actually working on a virtual lab system, and maybe, Raymond, if you're interested, you could get involved with it. Well, essentially what we're going to do is put a website together where we can actually work real time with one another on experiments and stuff so that people can come in and see, live real-time testing of ideas and put all these together. You might have, like I'd be working on a project, you might have an idea that would make my project work a lot faster. So with that said, this virtual lab idea that we're working on, hopefully it'll come together real soon, and we can actually, via Skype or whatever, instead of having to use the expense to travel, we can sit there and be in each other's lab real time. What do you think about that?
I was hoping you would ask. I love it. It's fantastic. I have dreamed of that for the past 6 years.
Hey,
We're going to
Cultus.
have a bonfire out there in the middle of sometime in August when we find out. I'm planning on going up there. I wouldn't mind snagging you for the ride.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. The more the merrier. I wish we could get everybody from the radio show and all the networks together at the same time. That would be awesome. Hey, Cultus, you got any updates on the website or anything?
We're still feathering out some of the code and trying to work out a chat program to embed. But other than that, I think it's coming together quite nicely, actually.
Cool. I can't wait for it. And it sounds like we got a couple of extra people that want to be involved. And the more researchers we can get, the better. Because, man, I tell you, this is probably one of the best ideas that we've talked about in a long time, that virtual lab where we can actually bring brilliant minds from all over the world together. You know, like I said, in your YouTube, you did put your YouTube out there for everybody, didn't you?
Not tonight, I haven't got a show.
Okay, well, in your YouTube, you're working on alternative energy, and I'm working on alternative energy. We're all working on alternative energy. We all got the same goal. So with that said, a virtual lab could actually help speed up the process and bring this information to the world in a lot quicker manner, so to speak. And so, man, I'm excited as all get out about this deal.
Yeah, for sure. And just on that note as well, if there's anyone out there who does web development, just come hit me up. It's Cultus Legrand. You can find me on Skype or on Facebook. It's Kultus. And Legrand is Nagrand. So yeah, anyone who's into web development wants to donate a little bit of time to help us out, just get in touch with me and we'll get you to work real quick.
Yeah, that's another thing right there, folks out there. If you're listening and you are good at building websites and coding and that kind of stuff, and you want to help out with your talent there, it would be well more than appreciated, and you benefit humanity by getting this ball rolling. Because, man, I've said this forever and a day. You know, we got a lot of brilliant minds out there, and if only we could get them together in one place at one time, that we could accomplish so much. That we could prove beyond a shadow of doubt. Everyone on this radio show right now already knows that energy's free. We already get it. But to actually put it together, like Raymond was talking about, it takes money, it takes resources, and for us to all be able to travel to one specific lab or whatever would just be about the same problem. That, you know, not everybody's got the money to travel like that. But with the virtual lab system, using today's technology, we can literally bring together all these brilliant minds, and they can actually see what I'm working on in my lab, or what Cultus is working on, or what Raymond or Muddy or Steve's working on. And we have access to some of the greatest researchers out there, and you yourself could actually be a researcher if you find something that is related to whatever it is that we're working on. And it's not just going to be one particular device. That we're going to have categories for all different types of devices. And so if you see something that maybe we might have missed, and you throw a link up in there, we can look into that, and we can actually speed this process up. So anybody got anything to say on that?
I do.
Let's hear it.
What you just said, first started talking, we need people out there that want to get involved, and it doesn't matter what their speciality is. What you just said about, okay, you don't know anything about science, but you understand the internet, websites, and this, that, and other, that would be way more than appreciated for your help. You don't need to be a scientist. You can be anything, and you can still help. Because we don't know everything. I don't know anything about electronics. I don't know the first thing about setting up a website, but how cool would it be that if you out there listening to this radio show know how to set up a website, contact Shazizz, help him set this website up so that all of us can get together along with you. That's what I'm saying. It's people coming together. That's everything.
Raymond, I'm actually working on the website.
Right on.
Really?
We got Simply Steve in there. See,
the problem is I'm not hugely experienced with PHP, Java, and that sort of SQL databases. I can build the website from CSS and HTML. It's just I really do need some help with implementation of various applications. So if anybody's a specialist in applications, then that is somebody I'd really like to talk to. I've got the
Well, what
basics
about
of it,
Kim?
but
I've got a sneaky feeling that there's somebody out there listening that knows exactly what and understands the help you need and knows how to do it. They need to get hold of you.
yeah,
And I've said this a million times, folks. I've said this a million times, that if, you know, you got a talent out there, and by ourselves, each of us out here, simply Steve has his skills, Raymond's got his skills, Muddy, Shazizz, and Cultist, all of us got our own skills. But, you know, separately we can do some amazing things, but just imagine what we could do combined. So this is what we're talking about, putting a virtual lab together so that we can literally come together, working in our labs. We can actually see what's going on. We can talk real time about the deal. We can answer questions from people that come together, and we can actually make this happen. The ultimate goal is to free the minds of all the individuals out there, to free themselves from the bondage of having to pay the power company, to essentially bring back sovereignty, freedom, love, life, and just better humanity. Because we are the founding fathers, the mothers, the sisters, the brothers, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the grandparents of our children and our children's children's future. And so with that said, what we do today will define the life that they lead tomorrow. So we can do this thing. You hear an example of what we're talking about right now.
let me tell you what. Let me put forward what my dream is for the future. If we can produce our own electricity, we can grab water from the air, we can provide whatever technologies we really need to be able to grow our own food. So if you're providing the basics of power for your home and food for your stomach, then you could actually spend a lot more time researching projects of interest, because you haven't got this burden to go out and find little bits of paper to be able to make your way in the world. And that will give us freedom.
Does anybody out there understand Latin? Latin is a very, very short language that says a lot of things. And what we're discussing right now, there are 3 Latin words that says everything. E pluribus unum. Together we stand. In Latin. Well,
And how, brother? And that's one of the key points that I like the most, is that the fact that, you know, together there's nothing we can't accomplish. You know, divided they can pick us off one at a time, but, you know, it's once the idea is out there, once Pandora's box is open and the information is in your hand, I put it to you like this. You can't sell a widget if everyone has a widget. And so when we put this information in everyone's hands out there, the corporate goons out there that have been bleeding us dry and milking us for every penny and tax that they could possibly get are screwed, because we already got what we need. We don't need their stuff. We are using the talents that were given to us, in my belief, by God himself. The earth is one massive thermoelectric generator of epic proportions, a self-contained biosphere, the most beautiful piece of machinery / artwork ever in the history of time. And it's ours. It's ours. Together, we can do amazing things. This is where I'm coming from. And I'm pretty sure that most of the folks listening agree. What do you think?
There's 2 Latin phrases.
Go ahead, Steve.
Sorry, there's 2 Latin phrases, and it seems to be the way I think and the way other people think. Now, I think most people have heard of the phrase carpe diem, seize the day.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I want to do, but unfortunately all these people that seem to say that they're providing us with solutions seem to be more interested in carpe jugular, where they want to seize the throat.
Yeah.
Well, and then you
We need to seize the day, not each other.
Then you got folks out there trying to hinder the process. Like, you know, if I come on Raymond's channel and I see something he's doing and I begin to immediately criticize his deal, not all of us use the same terminology to explain what it is that we're doing, because we are literally creating our own terminology as we go by what it is that we're understanding, that we're seeing. all the high-tech terminology taught in college and all that kind of stuff, essentially, basically, when these guys come on the channel, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about because that defies the second law of thermodynamics or so on and so forth. Instead of them saying, hey, brother, this is how I understand it, and this is how I can help you out. If it helps you out, great. You know, but you have individuals going out there and they'll troll the heck out of us, and they will say the rudest comments in the world. We're taking and devoting our time. We're basically giving our time and our energy and our minds to the world, trying to make a better place, while we have individuals out there attacking us at every turn. But here we're talking about putting together a group of individuals who we all tell you the same thing. None of us know it all, but together we can do this thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Damn the torpedoes.
And how?
That's what I.
No, Jim. And the torpedoes full speed ahead.
On the note of people not knowing everything, it's very important to remember when you're doing this kind of research, or you're coming in to lend advice to this kind of research, that it's okay that one man is going down one path with the research and that another man goes down another path with the research. None of us have the answers yet. So until someone has something in their hand that disproves somebody else, you need to just give constructive help.
Yeah, and the thing that you said about going down separate paths, we're covering more ground that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Actually, once that happened to somebody the other day, I'll keep quiet unless they speak up. But yeah, I literally watched that happen to somebody the other day, and it irked me to no end. You know, it's very important to remember that we all need to basically go down a separate path and converge at the end with our results, and then take it off again from there down separate paths again, and until such time as we actually reach a conclusion and we have something useful.
Shazizz said it right. We all need to go out separate paths. What you just said pulls it all together. We didn't go out separate paths, but we need to stay in touch.
Exactly.
Now, we need to set this website up. Now, if there's any listener out there that has any knowledge of any path that can help, how do you pronounce your name? K-U-L-T-U-S?
Cultists.
Well, if you can help it in any way, get involved. Get hold of them.
Yeah, believe me, and Raymond said it best. He said you don't have to be a scientist in order to be beneficial to the group, because, you know, Simply Steve, he works on alternative food sources, and he's got a lot of good information and stuff like that. Muddy, he's got the actual flux wind turbine, and Cultus is working on a bunch of stuff, and Raymond's working on, so am I. We're all working on a whole bunch of different ideas at the same time in order for us to reach the same goal. But what we're trying to say here today is we could speed this up. We could make it a whole lot better by bringing these brilliant minds together. Multiple categories on this website to where we're working on all these things, but we can always drop in on each other's lab at any given time and look in what's going on, because Raymond might have a problem going on, and I'll say, hey, dude, I've seen this before. You can try this piece of equipment right here with that, and it will work perfect. And he tries it out, and it works, and we just sped the process up, and that's what the whole goal of the virtual lab thing is. Anybody else got anything?
Between myself and my pet rabbit, we have the answers to every single question in the universe. Now, anybody that can speak rabbit, well, we'll unlock the universe's finest secrets. Until then, we're going to have to work together.
And how, brother? Never underestimate the power of a rabbit.
I mean, you know, somebody many, many years ago did underestimate the power of a rabbit. Now Australia has a hard time getting rid of them.
Good eat, bro.
One pregnant female rabbit, 2 years. How many rabbits do you have?
A lot.
Fire out there. Count it.
5.
Well, see, you know, in that bit of negativity where somebody tampered with where they weren't supposed to be tampering with, it put a food source out there.
It really did.
So basically, nature knows what nature's doing, and so if you just pay attention to nature, you could learn a few things.
You know, I read somewhere that every so many years, Australia, their government gets a lot of people together, and they put this fence that's like a big circle. Then they run these outrunners, and they get people with pots and pans, and we're talking thousands of people, and they herd all these rabbits into this pen. And they go in with baseball bats, the bullets are them are a little bit expensive. They go in with baseball bats and beat them all to death. Then take bulldozer, scoop out the ground, and push all these dead rabbits in that ground.
That's terrible.
Really? I'd like to see a bit of proof about that.
Let's do away with the circle, and let's put a jumbo jet there and herd all these rabbits into the jumbo jet, and then fly it over the infield where people are starving. And you just get them out. I mean, so they're going to die when they hit the ground. Well, they're going to die when you hit them with a baseball bat. It's a food source. People in this world are going to starve to death, and Australia's going to thrive with and rabbits.
Well, I'm an animal lover, so I don't want anybody clubbing any rabbits unless it's emergency and you're hungry.
You ain't got to close the rabbits if you just fire up the jumbo jet. They're all just cooked crispy, bub.
But then you lose the secrets of the universe.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'd just like to clarify that a little because I've been in Australia all my life and I've never once heard about that. Yes, we do it with cane toads, but I've never ever heard about that being done with rabbits.
Okay, wait a minute. But for every rabbit that you drop over India, in a poor area of India, where people starve to death, for every 4 rabbits, you throw out a whole of local corn, along with instructions in India to show the people that they can use the sun and the aluminum foil to cook the rabbits.
Well, can we put them?
Hey, what about that hot water system you made down there in Mexico?
Can we put parachutes on them first?
Yeah.
No. Scott, I love you. You are my brother. Okay. See, no such thing as free energy. Yeah. Uh-huh. My in-laws in Mexico didn't have hot water here, so they couldn't afford the electricity or the gas to heat the water. I just simply went down to the plumbing supply store, bought 600 feet of half-inch black plastic pipe, put it on top of the house, and now all of a sudden, as long as the sun's shining, they have more hot water than they can possibly use.
And there are methods by which you can actually basically insulate a tank and hold that heat for long periods of time, even after the sun goes down.
I think the funniest part about that story that you didn't go into all the way, his father-in-law got home from work towards the evening, and his wife told him, he said, "We have hot water." He looked, "What?" He said, "We have hot water. Your son-in-law gave us hot water." And so he went into the shower, and he took a shower, and about an hour and a half later, he finally come out. And his mother-in-law says he never spends more than 5 minutes in the shower. He didn't run out of hot water the whole hour and a half. He said that water just kept on running, and he was enjoying it.
Yes, I'm not so right now. He said something to my mother-in-law. That time my Spanish wasn't that great, so I didn't understand what he said. But all of a sudden, standing behind me, I was sitting at the table. She jumped down, wrapped her arms around my neck, put her face right next to mine, and said, "That's my son."
Well, see, it's that story there is a testament of what we can accomplish out there, you know. And if you take, for example, third world countries out there who don't have all the luxuries that we've got, there's a lot of brilliant minds in third world countries that I'd like to get introduced to this virtual lab so that they can learn even more from all the different ideas that we're sharing amongst each other. So with that said, you know, we're coming down to the last 10 minutes of the show, and usually what I like to do is go around and give everybody an opportunity to fill in about 5 minutes of time and tell everybody their YouTube channels and their information, what they're working on. So who wants to go first? Don't everybody jump at once.
Well, I guess I will. When I looked at, a few years ago, Obama Nation set these mandatory time slots in the hottest part of the day where they cut your electricity for a few hours, and then they turned it on for 30 minutes, and then turned it back off again. I guess that was to keep everybody's food from going bad. I know a few people that didn't have the best refrigerators lost their stuff. But, they say they're going to be doing this a little farther into the future, and I know government's already got enough control on it. My deal is getting the free energy out there. I mean, the wind is free, so I make the axial flux wind turbines. The smallest one, I figure these big ones for the axial flux are a little expensive to build, so I did a series on design of Muddy's mini wind turbine, and the sixth one, part 6, I've got posted out there. If whoever received it off of here, I guess that's Cultus, if we post it into the MSI there, somebody can see how that goes. That was the last video on it so far. I haven't got the results out, but my idea is between Belgrade Machine and I, we've made this thing and tried to make it as cheap as possible, and we'll get the test results out here pretty quick. I'm running down there, instead of carving wood props for them, which might over time degrade, seeing as I haven't made them out of cedar. I'm actually going with raptor blades, for those that don't want the wooden blades, and we're going to try to keep this as cheap as possible. That way somebody doesn't have to spend a few $1,000s for a wind turbine and then have to buy the grid tie inverter or the batteries and all that stuff. Trying to keep it down there. We drop it down to a 6-inch rotor and a 5-foot prop instead of a 10-foot prop. And it's a lot more affordable at that point, and the magnets were a lot cheaper. Really busted everything I've got financially getting this going. So it's going a little slow, but this will be out there and everything, and I hope you enjoy the video series on that. It's only 7 in the video series so far, because I added Belgrade Machines video to the series playlist. You can look at the playlist on my channel there. I guess I'll turn it over to everybody else, but that's my way of fighting the free energy problem. Just like the hot water is free from the sun, so I figure the wind is free. We don't have it year-round, but some folks live in a wind tunnel that's year-round there and really kicks out much. I know one guy put 2 wind turbines up on a tower, and they had a storm, and it bent the tower, but the wind turbines were still kicking, so that's the good news. Just guy wire them up a little bit higher, and the leverage on the metal probably won't be all that hard. The tower should cost, you should put as much into the tower as you put into a wind turbine. So with that, I'm just going to back on out of here and let everyone else go.
Alrighty, so I have my own show here on MSI Radio, and that's on a Tuesday night at midnight GMT. And this week we're going to have Yvonne Wenham back again for a good discussion. I believe Simply Steve's also going to pay us a visit, and we're going to discuss the 350 ppm problem with global warming. So you should all tune in, and we'll get a good discussion going over that. With that, I'll turn it over to Steve.
It's possible for us to grow a house. We have the technology, we know how to do it, but we have people out there that ban the use of industrial hemp. Now, this is a valid technology. Everybody in the world, pretty much, can grow industrial hemp in their region using specified plants. The question I have to ask is, why do we keep accepting solutions that mean we get thrown out of perfectly good houses because of a monetary system which is being deliberately and intentionally manipulated from underneath us? We need to start taking control of the solutions. If we can grow a house, we can do anything.
If the house burns down, you won't be depressed.
Well, no, but industrial hemp mixed with lime sets into a material called hempcrete. It's breathable. It's about 1/6 of the weight of concrete with the same tensile strength. Wow.
Well,
think about it, guys. We could grow our own house.
Well, I about died laughing when I heard.
I saw a guy grow all his lawn furniture, and that was very impressive. I looked at the pictures of that, and I said, "Wow, I got to do that someday."
I about died laughing whenever I heard Muddy say that we're not going to be depressed if our house burns down. So,
I've done better with the house fire. I wasn't depressed. I was glad to get rid of all the stuff, and the news reporters thought I was nuts. You know, I was just elated. It was a little rough after that, but at the time, I was very happy. I was just, the thing that got me is the whole thing didn't go. So that just created more work.
So Raymond, I guess you got the last word, brother.
Uh-oh.
I have one last thing to say there, Shazizz.
All right.
If people don't believe that industrial hemp is a valid building material, they've built a brewery out of it in the UK.
Well, there you go.
So,
All right, what you got, Raymond?
Here's Raymond.
That's correct. Hey, all you listeners out there that are not with us, I want you to know that I'm very, very glad to be here. And really, truly, I urge you, if you have any skill whatsoever, it doesn't matter whether it's scientific or not, if you have any skills whatsoever, help Cultists build this website and join us. Please.
All right, everybody. Well, we're down to the last couple minutes, and we're going to kick it over to the Hope Show. And I'd like to thank all my guests, and I'm going to go ahead and take leave of them so that I can hopefully get a smooth transition. But thanks a lot, everybody, for all the information, and that's what it's all about. Peace and love to you. I'll catch you all later.
Take care, mate.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Gracias.
All right, take care. All right, everybody, you're listening to Shazizz Mad Science. Next up is the Hope Show. Hopefully we'll have a smooth transition over. So with that said, I'm going to play us on up out of here with the outros, so to speak. So take care, and thanks, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the information. I hope it benefits you in some positive manner. Peace and love to everybody. Take